that should do it. It was the wrong mic.
There it is.
Yeah.
I did it.
All right. 3 out of 4 ain't bad. What up, y'all? It's New Year's Eve, early in the morning, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 o'clock Eastern. I don't know if we're supposed to have the band back together today, but I don't know if Mike Tillery is actually coming on or not. Hardcore Peace. He came on last week, kind of in a pinch, unsuspected, unexpected, and we were unsuspecting. And then we expect him this week, but I don't know if he's coming. We do, however, have a special guest a little later on to kind of talk through some of the. Well, we'll leave that. We'll tell you about it later. We've got a special guest coming up, and we'll talk about her a little later. But go ahead and kick it off. It's December 31st, New Year's Eve, Friday morning. We have Rodney Saucier Sr., aka Saucier _Senior, and then we have break out that milk carton. Holy shit. Where is that damn milk carton? We got Trey Hobbs. Yeah, man, I went to Woodland. Where the hell is he? I don't know. Winnetka. I went to Winnetka and found him. I was on the hunt. Sometimes, man, you just gotta look at Trader Joe's and just
man. Thanks for saving me, bro.
You just gotta go to Trader Joe's sometimes and find your friend, right? So, but that's the beauty of real friendship. No matter what happens with certain things, when you can talk through things, then your friendship is intact, and then you can make everything else work out. What's up, Dietrich? Good morning. So that's one of the things that I appreciate about my friendship with Trey. Like, the only one that I communicate with that I've known longer than Trey is Roderick, and he comes on the show every week. But Trey and I have done just a ton of things together through the decades, and if you have a communication breakdown, you just want to talk through it and get it back. So, as I would tell you guys on the podcast, Trey and I were still talking. We just weren't talking about the podcast. So that was kind of hilarious. So anyway, what was I going to throw in there? All right. So Trey Hobbs, say what up to the people.
What up, y'all? Happy New Year. Well, last day of this year, getting ready for next year.
Okay.
It's time. It's time for 21 to be gone. I'm ready for 22, man. Ready for change.
Ready for it, huh?
Some exciting new things that can happen in 22.
I'm not mad at it.
20 and 21, them still pandemic years, and we still in it. So,
all right.
Hopefully 22 will bring some change.
Hopefully so, right? Well, Trey's homeboy used to live down the street from him, kind of trying to take shit back to the 80s a little bit. So I'm just gonna throw this on there real quick.
Let's do it.
Wrong fucking thing. Hold on a second. Wrong place. Wrong place. Need to play it here.
Well, that was right.
Yeah. With the tribe license plate. Tribe. So I'm gonna let Rodney talk in a minute, and I got something for Rodney. Old faithful. Shout out to Tone Low. All right, Rod, what you got? Say what up to the people.
What up, people? Happy New Year's Eve. And I guess I gotta borrow some inspiration from my friend Michelle Copeland. We're only having one new year, not several.
Dog, when you said Happy New Year's Eve, I was about to cut you because I thought you were saying Happy New Year's. No. I was about to get rid of you. Go ahead.
So it's Happy New Year, not Happy New Year's.
Just help the people out. And if you get caught up, like if you've said it for a lifetime and you don't know how to fix it, if you find yourself saying Happy New Year's, just if it's today, say New Year's Eve. If it's tomorrow, say New Year's Day. You know. But it's not multiple years. It's only one new year. Hey, what's up? What's up, Sam Gardner the third? Samuel Gardner the third. No, we call you Sam. Call the young one Samuel. What's up, Sam Gardner the third? SG3. All right, well, y'all know what I always play for Rodney. This might not be even what he wants, but I don't care because he probably want to go to some East Coast. But we're going with, yeah. What's up, Edgar? Hey, Rod, we moving fast, not slow.
I ran into one of my buddies in the mall the other day and realized that we have a lot more people who tune in than we realize.
Oh,
because
okay.
He was talking to me about the show,
but
I don't ever see his name pop up. But he's like, "Yeah, I click in all the time."
Oh yeah, okay? Yeah, we got some covert viewers and listeners out there. Shout out to what up, Roddy T. Shout out. So if you guys are ever at Orville Wright Junior High, that's where Rod and I met. My locker was 2218, and the combination was 40-22-40. I don't know if they changed it or not, but just try that out. I don't know why I've never forgotten that from the 6th grade, but I've never forgotten it. Locker 2218, 40-22-40. And you guys know I always close the show out with who do you believe in? But here's just, I just want to kick it off with my man O'Shea Jackson. This is how I'm gonna kick it off for me. Just think and try to keep me from running up. All right, y'all. I don't know. We ready. Listen, I don't think Mike Tillery is coming, but this is his intro song. So he's not coming, but he might come later, but this is what I have for him. Tell us about freedom. Freedom is a road seldom traveled by the multitude. It's the same guy. Man, that gives me chills. Rod, that's on my Game Time playlist. Show them what you got. Public Enemy. All right, so good morning, Edgar. No, nobody's stuff is gonna get stolen because hopefully no one listening to this should be going up to Orville Wright. Like for real. That's not our demographic by any means. But hey, thank you guys for checking in. Anybody who needs a barber and you're out in the Inland Empire, I refer you to my man Edgar DeLuna. He runs Lunas. I almost said Lunars. He runs Lunas in Rialto. So I'll give you the details if you're interested. You can book with him online and then just show up. Make sure you have your mask though, because we're not trying to have you infect his other clients, right? All right. So our list today. We got a few topics. Hopefully we get to them all. Go over Desmond Tutu. We're gonna talk about college football. A few topics in the NBA. Hey Sam, thanks for checking in, man. Back to work. Love you, brother. NBA. Got a few topics there. The NFL. Got some topics there. The WNBA, we only have one topic there. And then if we can get to some of the culture stuff, Insecure, a couple movies, A Journal for Jordan, The Tragedy of Macbeth, and then the trucker who was driving through Colorado, lost control, killed 4 people, had been sentenced to 110 years. And we want to give you the update on that. So, but our special guest is, all right, so here's the deal. We had LeBron. Well, I don't want to cut into that. I'm going to wait for the guest to come. So we're not going to do that yet. All right, let's cut to it. Desmond Tutu. Thoughts, Rod? He passed. Rest in peace, Desmond Tutu.
Man, growing up, that's all I heard about was apartheid. and he was the instrumental piece in helping to get rid of that. So I know even back then, I wouldn't get gas at Shell gas station because they supported it, and my friends used to get mad at me
Mm-hmm.
because I would run out of gas sometimes, and they'd be like, "Man, the gas station is right there." I'm like, "I'm not going to no damn Shell."
And I wasn't wearing
You
Reeboks.
know?
Straight up.
So
Right.
that was out. And I'm still like that, and I'm sure you're still like that. But yeah, Desmond Tutu played a big part in help shaping me with those kind of thoughts, and that's
I think we
just
just I think we just had some people who support apartheid drop off. So all right, that's fine. But go ahead, Rob.
that's just
Hey,
one
dropped off right away.
that's just one thing of many he accomplished, but that one sticks out the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, rest in peace to the man. Like, sad to see
Yeah.
anybody go, man. Like, but
So
Yeah,
yeah, so many people that were instrumental in the strides that we have made. We still have so far to go, but the strides that we have made are passing away, and it's a sad thing. Let's go ahead and have a moment of silence for Desmond Tutu. All right, our special guest should be checking in any minute now, so I'll let you guys know what they're here for once they get here. But let's go into college football. We have the CFP. Well, we had Mad Bowl cancellations, including the Holiday Bowl, in which UCLA was supposed to play.
yeah, man.
And
we finally get a bowl game and can't play.
yeah, and then it's really funny that so many North Carolina State Wolfpack fans believe that UCLA was running from them. UCLA has been a not very good football program recently, and just to be back in a bowl game, they would have done anything, I believe, to play in that game. So it's interesting how you get a narrative and run with it. But again, that's just my perspective as a UCLA alum who's still pretty close to the football program. So I allow for NC State alums to have their perspectives as well. I just think that they are off with that. But yeah, Mad Bowls have been canceled. Like so many of everything has been canceled. Rod and I have lost games, basketball games, due to COVID. I didn't lose any football games. But here's the funny thing. Today is December 31st. Yesterday was December 30th. I had 4 different college games scheduled yesterday, and they were all canceled at different times. They were all canceled due to COVID. 4 different games canceled. So luckily I never left my house to go work any of those 4, but they all wound up being canceled. So CFP semifinals. We took a poll today at the Collective Podcast, and we have decided overwhelmingly that Michigan is going to beat Georgia. And then we only had, I think we had 3 votes. Hold on. Did we get the 4th vote on the other semifinal? Let me check. Semifinal 1. Yeah, this is interesting. Oh, Trey, you didn't vote.
I voted for
No, the today, the college football. I put 2 more polls in there.
Oh, I didn't see it. I haven't even looked at my phone or anything this morning.
All right. Well, okay. So Mike did vote. So who you have out of Michigan, Georgia?
Michigan, probably. Michigan.
Okay. So that's 4 votes for Michigan, 0 for Georgia. Who do you have in the other semifinal, which is Alabama, Cincinnati?
Alabama.
All right. So that's 2-2. So the Collective Podcast is split on the second semifinal. I mean, on the first semifinal. Rod and I have Cincinnati. Mike and Trey have Alabama. So you guys can do your own picking and and figure it out. But from the collective, we're not much help, but we do advise you to choose Michigan. Looks like our special guest has checked in, so I'm going to go ahead and bring her in 1 second. But I just want to I want to share my screen real quick to show this to you beforehand. So, our other co-host was to be here just to be here, but also he was supposed to kick this segment off. And when I saw this meme, I shot it to him and I said, "Hey, defend your guy." And he was ready to. And then I don't know if he's still ready to after certain things that have transpired through the week, but maybe not. I don't know. Where is the meme? Hold on. I'll go to the collective podcast and pull it up because I'm not finding it online. And then we'll bring in our special guest. Here it is. So, okay, we don't need anybody's music. We just want to see the meme. All right, open with preview. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick, and I just want everyone to see it that hasn't had a chance to see it. So, give me a sec, and then we'll bring on the guest. Share screen, window. Where is it? Who you believe? There it is. Okay. So can you guys see that?
No. But now I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a tweet from someone named King James. I believe that's the name that LeBron James goes by, because I think people call him King James. So he's posted this meme of multiple Spider-Men. We have cold, we have flu, we have COVID. Cold is pointing at both of them, and then COVID and flu are pointing at one another and not pointing at cold. And then he says, "Help me out, folks." And then you have young, impressionable NBA stars such as Trae Young and Miles Bridges, and they're responding in agreement. So I wanted Mike to defend his guy, LeBron, because this, to me, is not only very confusing to people who are on the fence, but it's disheartening to me when you wind up in a situation like this where so many people are on the fence, and then now they may be influenced by this person that they feel shapes culture, who is saying that essentially saying that COVID is equivalent to the cold or flu. Rod, I'm gonna go ahead and let you introduce our guest.
All right. So this is my cousin Kimberly Waters. She worked for years at Memorial Hospital, which is one of the largest in Southern California, I know for sure, if not in the state. She actually helped my wife get ready to have Little Rod. She was working in the delivery, not delivery, I forgot what you call that department, prenatal, something like that. But at the time when Rod was born, that's what side of the hospital she was working on. So now she does COVID testing at Dominguez High School for all the athletes, and I will let her take the rest.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kim.
You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I've never ever been on a podcast before, and my son was like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Your picture's not on there." I was like, "Okay." So anyway, usually I like to be more personable. But thank you, Rob, for the introduction. Yes, I've been just a little bit of a background. I'm a labor and delivery nurse, 20 years. I'm also a district nurse at Compton Unified School District. Um, I also teach at El Camino College and Compton College in the nursing programs. So I have a little bit of history in health. Um, and I was talking to Rod last night. I said my perspective on COVID is a little unorthodox. I think that meme that LeBron put up, you got to be careful. I would never, as a health professional, put something like that up. That I think it was a little irresponsible, but he is not a health professional. We have to remember that also. But he still has a responsibility, I believe, to be careful what he puts out there. But that's a whole nother conversation. But one thing about COVID and the vaccine, and Rod and I were talking about it last night. It's all about boosting our immune system so that we don't get this virus. The virus is real. If you think back to a year ago, we had morgues in the parking lots of hospitals were bodies. We ran out of room for all the dead bodies. So for those who say it's not real, oh, it's definitely real. But I also believe that the government politicized this. They continue to politicize this, and they're not being honest. I take the perspective that, everyone got not everyone, but most people got the vaccine because we wanted to protect ourselves. We wanted to protect our grandparents, and we didn't want to do anything that would hurt them. But what the government fails to do, and it's really not their responsibility, but it is, but to tell us that we need to boost our immune systems naturally. I don't, eating healthy. I mean, the lines, I used to go running over by Lakewood Mall when the pandemic first started. The longest line was at Cane's, the fast food joint. Our nutrition is what is going to pull us through this pandemic and future pandemics, and how we take responsibility for our health. So me, for one, I feel like I was, quote, a healthy person, but there's always room for improvement, and I've been doing that. So I got my vaccine, but now they're telling me we're going to mandate a booster, and I'm like, hold up, time out. I have an issue with that because you can't paint this with a broad brush and say everybody should have to get the booster. I've taken care of myself. I continue to take care of myself. I've fortunately never got infected. I've been around many people who have been infected, from at the high school doing COVID tests. Two of my sons who were staying with me both got infected with COVID. And, fortunately, my immune system, I was able to, not get infected, hand washing and all that. But what I'm basically saying is that the boosters are short term answers to this virus. You have to take care of yourself. And that's what the government is not doing. And they're contradicting themselves so much. They're packing us on planes like sardines. They're telling us now, oh, you don't have to quarantine for 10 days, just 5 days. Well, what's that all about? Are you trying to just get us to work? It's about the economy. So what's the priority? Is it the economy or is it my health? So what I say to people is just take responsibility for your health. You won't get there overnight. We're never going to be where we want to be, but you cannot continue to depend on boosters. That is not okay. Those are short-term answers. The long-term answers is to take care of yourself and get ready for the next pandemic because it's coming. Obama warned us about this one. The next one is coming. So it's just a matter of when. So I'm just saying, people, you have to take care of yourself. So I'll stop there. I can keep going on and on forever.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like I told Kim last night, I've always wondered how many boosters are we going to need? Is this a one time thing? Because normally when you hear of boosters, you think that it's something you're going to need. Like how much longer are we going to have to take them? Or is this a lifetime thing every 8 months? Or is this a one time thing after the initial shots for COVID or what?
Well, in Israel, they're already on their second booster. They're already on their second booster. So it's going to happen. And I'm not saying boosters are bad, because some people need to be the first one in line to get a booster. Because you're not going to take, if you're not going to take, it's just, like I was saying, Rod, about diabetes. If you have type 2 diabetes, one of the things that you can surely do to turn that trajectory around is to change your lifestyle. But a lot of people, and I talk to patients, I'm not changing my lifestyle. I'm not going to change my diet, and I'm not changing what I do. And I'm like, okay, well, here's your insulin. Have at it, because you're going to need it. Don't stop taking your insulin. But then I know other people who have changed their lifestyle, they've changed their diet, their exercise. They're not on any medication anymore. So it depends on the individual and what they're willing to do. The same thing with COVID. Some people, you better take that booster, and any other booster they put out there, you better take it, because you're going to get it if you don't do what you're supposed to do to change your lifestyle and to build your immune system. So as a health professional, I never tell anyone, I wouldn't take that booster, I wouldn't take the vaccine. Some of y'all need to be the first one in line, because you're going to need it. So, but I think the government needs to be more forthright and honest about what a virus is. They knew this was going to happen, because this is the nature of a virus. It mutates just like it. And I'm not saying COVID is the flu. It is not. But it's a virus. There are some similarities, and they behave the same. But the government was not honest. I mean, that whole charade where Biden took off his mask, and what's the governor, Newsom, took off his mask. I was like, what the hell are they doing? That was so irresponsible. That was definitely more irresponsible than that meme that LeBron put out. These are government officials. They have access to medical professionals. What were you all thinking about when you did that, when you told people it was okay to take off their mask? So that's I just kind of read into it a little bit more. Can you guys hear me okay?
I hear you perfectly.
Okay. So yeah, I just think it was very irresponsible for all of them, government officials. I mean, LeBron has his opinion just like anybody else. I don't agree with it, but it's a little bit more difficult than that.
LeBron. Okay, so LeBron doesn't just have his opinion like everyone else, because I have my opinion, but I don't have 30 million followers. Trey's got his opinion. He doesn't have 30 million followers.
That's true. Yeah.
Rodney, I mean, Joe Biden doesn't have 30 million followers. Gavin Newsom doesn't have 30 million followers. So it's not just having an opinion, it's expressing that opinion to the world, essentially.
But they have a platform of 30 million. They have a platform. So they do need to be more responsible, in my opinion.
The government officials?
Yeah, they have a platform. They have access, to millions of people.
Well, and they are saying get vaccinated, stay safe, all of that, right? Like, not, oh, I'm confused, I don't know what the difference is between this and a cold and a flu, right?
Yeah, they are saying that you are correct. Yes.
Okay. So I guess the thing that, and thank you for that, Kim. Thank you definitely for coming on. I think about the people who are the pictures of health, people who are eating right and running, or their cardiovascular is fine or is great, and they may be vegan or just whatever they may be, but they still wind up, if they were unvaccinated, catching COVID and dying. Like, there are people who took phenomenal care of themselves but still passed away because it's a crapshoot, right? Like, it obviously, the better you take care of yourself, the better overall for you to fight things off. But for this particular situation, we just don't know who is unvaccinated is going to be attacked and not make it through, right?
Right. And you know what? I completely agree with what you just said, but with one caveat. One thing I will just say, the odds, when I say take care of yourself, because the vaccinated are getting they're carriers too of the virus, just like an unvaccinated person. But the difference is that and I'm not, this is not a plug for unvaccinated, don't get me wrong, because I have my issues with that also. But what I would say is that the likelihood, just like the flu has taken out people because it's a virus. It's not COVID, but it's a virus. If you take care of yourself, life is a crapshoot. You don't know. I mean, I know healthy people who have gotten diabetes, who have type 1 diabetes. I know people who have gotten diagnosed who are very healthy. Unfortunately, they've gotten cancer, breast cancer, and they are the picture of health. That what I'm saying is that you have a responsibility to take care of yourself and not just depend on a vaccine or a booster. That's
so I
not
think
healthy. That's not,
right.
I don't think that's what we should be doing. But even for the booster, I mean, I just have issues with that. If you're mandating it, some people want it, and I think it's great. You know your health. Go ahead and take the booster. I think it's wonderful. But should it be mandated? And I'm speaking as a nurse from friends who worked ICU during the pandemic, unvaccinated because there was no vaccine, and now they're fired because they decided they don't want the vaccine, but they never got infected. They never got it. They never got infected. They know how to protect themselves. And then some of the nurses wanted to take it, but now they're saying now the nurses have to be boosted or you lose your job. What is that? I have a problem with that. I have a problem. And I know this is more sports oriented, but at the end of the day, the nurses are who are taking care of you. So I just have a problem with it. Vaccinated, I kind of get, but it's a choice. And as far as a booster, that shouldn't be mandated. It's not the cold. It's not the flu. I think people have to be really careful what they put out there. And but I don't think enough is being said about taking care of yourself. Black people have been in a pandemic for a very long time. We've been dying from diabetes and stuff for a very long time. So anyway, go ahead.
All right. Well,
I think the biggest thing is with this LeBron thing is making the flu and COVID equal. And I don't think they are at all.
Absolutely not. All you have to do, one picture, look at the morgue. The morgues were full of bodies. COVID is not the flu by a long shot. It's a virus. Yes, it is a virus, but it's not a flu virus. And anyone who says that it's just being irresponsible and talking about it's a cold or a flu. That whole me, I think, he was saying 30 million people on your platform, and that's true. You have more of a responsibility not to do that. And, as a health professional, I would never do that because I don't want to be responsible for anyone dying. So,
and thank you. And let me correct myself. 106 million followers. 106.
When you said 30 million.
30, like what was 30 was, my bad. Here.
That's Bronny that got 30 million.
Hold on. I'll be remiss if I didn't do that because Nisha's, for whatever reason, she's blowing my phone up. She's not blowing Rod's phone up, clearly. So here you go.
That's my Nisha. Girl. Hey,
there,
girl.
Nisha. That's done. Okay. All right. So thank you, Kimberly Waters Harris, for coming through and educating us a little bit. We definitely appreciate you taking out the time on your not just any Saturday morning, but New Year's Eve morning. And you accepted the invitation late on a Thursday night and said you were looking forward to it. So thank you for coming through. We absolutely appreciate you. And we did start off as just a sports podcast, but we've become a culture podcast. So
I think that's awesome. I think that is awesome. I think we need more conversations like this. And I applaud you guys for just getting on and taking the baton and doing it. Our people we're still dying. There's people still dying, and it's unnecessary. It shouldn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and there's more children being infected too. So
Yeah, that
that's a whole nother
terrifies me.
problem. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks, Kim, for coming through. We appreciate
Okay.
you. All right.
All right. Bye, Rod. Bye, you guys. See you
Bye.
later.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Happy New Year. All right. So, yeah. So, Kim, thanks for coming through. Nisha's probably going to drop off now. Good morning, Elaine. Aunt Cheryl, good morning. Good morning, Nisha. Dietrich's back. Yeah. So Aunt Cheryl had it. My sister actually has it right now. My cousin has it right now. They are both vaccinated, so neither of them wound up being hospitalized. My dad wound up with it also. Kayla's mom, Brianna, wound up with it. But my buddy Jason got it before he was vaccinated, and he wound up with double pneumonia and almost died. And he wanted me to remind people of that, like unvaccinated people. Like, you can spin it however you want, but if you choose not to get it, then I'll say more power to you. But again, Jason wanted me to let you guys know, he's got a friend, well, he had a friend's gone, who took a stance against all of this and said, no vaccine for anybody in my family. So he didn't get vaccinated, didn't have his family vaccinated. His daughter, who's out of the house, lives in Vegas, brought the virus home, gave it to everybody in the household. The dad died a couple days later. And now everybody's infected with it and regrets all through that house for not getting vaccinated. And, it's December 2021, and they had the opportunity and they were against it for whatever reason. And again, if that's what you want to do, that's not the flu. That's not a cold. And, if you don't want to get a booster, that's on you. Like, I'm healthy, but I'm taking whatever is available. And then to Rod's question, how long do we have to take boosters? I personally don't care. Like, if I have to take a booster every year or every 6 months, whatever. Like, not only have I not had it, but if I would have had it after having been vaccinated, I believe that I would not wind up being hospitalized. And that is scary. My sister got actually pretty sick the other day. She doesn't have her booster yet, but she is fully vaccinated. And we believe that it would have been much, much worse if she weren't vaccinated. And there's evidence all around. And for people who say the mortality rates, what'd you say?
Did you guys get your boosters yet?
Yeah, I got my booster October something, like right when they came out.
Yeah, I got it about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So yeah, my card shows all 3 shots. But when people talk about the mortality rates being the same for people infected with the flu virus versus people infected with the COVID-19, well, it doesn't matter if the mortality rates are the same if way more people are getting infected with COVID-19. Like, that's the thing. There are unprecedented amounts of infections. So if you have 1% of 1,000, or let's go with easy numbers for you guys. If we have 1% of 100 people with the flu die, oh my gosh, that's one person. That's 1%. If we have that same 1% die from COVID-19, but versus that 100 with the flu, you wind up with 10,000 with COVID, then you wind up with 100 people dying as opposed to just the one. And so that's the thing. These numbers are unprecedented, and people want to trivialize it. And, I just think it's irresponsible. I think LeBron was completely irresponsible. I still haven't heard a good defense for what he put up. And I don't know. I don't even know what you hope to achieve by posting that thing. It actually seems moronic to me. And when and Kareem came out and said he thinks it's going to hurt LeBron's legacy. Listen, I'm not a LeBron on the court fan. I recognize that he's one of the greatest players of all time. I'm not a fan, so I don't have to be. But I have been a fan of a lot of things that he does off the court. I think he's phenomenal, not just a phenomenal businessman, but I think that he's making a difference. He's making a difference in our communities. But this shit, come on, man. Like, yo, that's so fucking irresponsible. That definitely taints the legacy and has me wonder, like, what your motives are. And I know you don't give a shit about me. I'm not one of the 106 million followers, and I won't be. But I'm just super disappointed. And prayers to my sister and my cousin who have it right now. Prayers to everybody who has it. And there have been so many people that have been on their deathbeds absolutely regretting not getting vaccinated. We know this. You guys want to stay on this, or you want to go to
I can tell people from experience. I didn't go to the hospital and actually get diagnosed, but I know I had it. And this was early on before it even became popular. There wasn't a vaccine out. The symptoms weren't even out. It was basically, if you have a fever and you have flu-like symptoms, go to hospital. Well, I had neither. I had headaches, which I commonly get every so often. That lasts for a couple of days. By day 3, my headaches weren't leaving. So I was like, okay, why is my headache still here? Normally in 2 days, it's gone. I took some Tylenol, felt a little better, not much. And then I just kept feeling like there was something in the back of my throat causing me to give a little, because I'm not a cougher. Anytime I've gotten sick, I've never been one to have a cough. That's not one of my things. For me, it's normally runny nose, scratchy throat, cold type thing. So I didn't think nothing of it. By day 5, I lost my taste and my smell for about 4 straight days. I couldn't taste or smell anything, but I still justified it by saying, I constantly stick hot things in my mouth, and the dentist always gets on me and says, hey, you keep burning the roof of your mouth and your tongue. You got to let your food cool off. That's been a big thing with me for years. I'm hungry. I just start cramming food in my mouth, and I don't really worry about how hot it is. So I chalked it up to, well, I can't taste it because I've scalded my tongue. My brother called one night and he was like, hey, how you doing? And I was sitting down on the couch and I got ready to talk, but nothing came out. I had to actually really inhale to say hello. So when people say the breathing thing is not real, it didn't feel like anything where you would have pneumonia. Is kind of more like you have fluid on your lungs. I didn't have a feeling like that, but my breath was gone. And for 3 of those nights, it was completely terrible, where I was like, okay, I got to get up from here. Something is not right. Something is off, really off. I kept drinking green tea. I was taking like 10 to 15,000 milligrams of vitamin D3 a day. And then I went up the street by my mom's house where they have a steep hill. And I walked up and down that hill like 2 or 3 times just to see if it would help improve my lungs. And that was the key. Me going up and down that hill made me feel 100 times better. And eventually a day or 2 later, I was fine. But for probably a month after that, my breathing was still off. It wasn't its normal pattern. So this is not the flu. It's not the flu. And thank God my mom wasn't coming over to our house. No one else got sick. Lauren got sick, but I don't know if that is what it was. She was sick for about 4 days, and she got sick a week after I got better. So with her, she was having headaches, and she was saying her stomach was hurting. She didn't want to eat her food. And that's when the news media came out with "Don't give anybody ibuprofen." If you guys remember that, they came out, saying don't give anybody ibuprofen. A few people have taken it for pain and died. Several people. So I didn't want to give it to her because I didn't know what was going on. And I called her pediatrician because doctors weren't in their offices anymore by this time. People were like on a panic. So he says, "Hey, Rod, I would just go ahead and give her a little bit, um, and see if it could help ease her pain." He said, "But it's up. I'm gonna leave it up to you." So I'm praying, like, God, please don't let anything happen to my daughter, but I don't want to see her in pain. So I gave her a couple of Tylenol. She said it helped a little bit as far as her head, but the headaches didn't go away. Um, and then by day 5, she got up that morning and said she was hungry, and she made herself some scrambled eggs and some toast or something. And a few hours later, after she ate, she was fine, back to normal. But you know, I don't know if anybody has lost their smell or taste, and it may not be a big deal if you just lose it for a couple hours or a day, but when you lose two of your senses for multiple days, it's scary. And then come to find out that those were major symptoms in people who had COVID. But at the time, those symptoms hadn't come out. This was early on. So I didn't have any games. I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't around anybody, and that was just God's blessing. But it's definitely real. I've been vaccinated. I just got tested again like 2 days ago. And what I was telling AC is I couldn't believe I was getting ready to walk in a gym, and they had a table with a nurse and a doctor set up at the table, and you couldn't go inside the gym until you got tested right there on the spot. So they were testing players, coaches, refs, whoever. Um, they had me swab my nose 5 times going left, 5 times going right. Um, and about 15 minutes goes by, and they say, "Hey, okay, Rodney, you're negative. You can go inside." But there were several players who were perfectly healthy, who didn't have any kind of symptoms, visible symptoms, I'll say, coughing, runny nose, or anything like that. And they didn't pass. And I know they didn't pass because each time someone tested positive, the doctor pulled them over to the side and spoke with them about it and about what they should do next. Um, so it's a scary thought to know that someone who looks perfectly healthy could walk past you and be positive, asymptomatic. But these people are carriers, and a lot of times in some of these states and places, they don't understand by being asymptomatic that they put other people at risk. They just kind of figure, well, it's not a big deal. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. Or I've been vaccinated, so I don't have anything else to worry about. And like I said, at that time, we don't know enough about this virus to make statements like that. Period. We don't know, if we're okay after we've been vaccinated. So far, we are, but we don't know how long this vaccination will hold up, or like I said earlier, how many boosters we need, or if we're going to need them for lifetime, or if we're just going to need them one time. We don't know, because at the time that this all came out, there were so many different viewpoints about it, and none of them hold anything right now. I mean, if you guys remember, they were saying, oh, heat kills it. Well, obviously that's not true. They were saying other things could kill it, and none of those things are even discussed anymore. So there's too much unknown to take this thing lightly, and I think people should really err on the side of caution.
Rodney Saucier, ladies and gentlemen, on a serious subject, but just know that if you play this dude in Scrabble or if you play him in chess with a timer, you'll win because he probably plays as slowly as he talks. So he probably will not get those moves in. Not that we wanted him to rush, but I imagine that 14 minutes that he talked probably could have been wrapped into like 3. But that's Rob for you. You gotta love him. But what you need to know about both of these gentlemen is that they've both lost people to this.
Yep.
Like that's important. They've both lost people to this. I haven't. I mean, and I don't know why, but I haven't. But then I know these two that have. I know that my friend Jason, who almost died. Like I said, he wound up with double pneumonia before he had a chance to be vaccinated. He almost died, and then his breathing was affected for 4 months following his discharge from the hospital. 4 months, he was still having breathing problems. They sent a ventilator home with him. He knows people, like I said, the one person that died, but he already knew people that died. And then people are getting infected left and right. And then there are still people who will not get vaccinated. There are still people that say, I know people, I know doctors, I know nurses, I know people who say I shouldn't, so I'm not. All right. Just, there, and I know of people who are dying who wish they would have made better choices. So just, have all the information. And then let's just throw this out there, and then I'm going to leave this alone. Everybody that says, oh, I don't really know what's in it, it was approved so fast. Well, it was an emergency approval. But here's the thing. Do you those of you that are not mechanics, do you really know how the engine in your car works? Do you know how electricity works? Like, you have a certain expectation that when you plug your lamp in, that there will be enough power for you to then turn it on. But you don't know what DWP is doing with power versus Southern California Edison. But because there are people who are paid to make these decisions and, you wind up trusting them. I'm not saying that everyone makes the right decisions, but if you have 99.9% of medical professionals saying that, we're doomed without it, I mean, at some point you got to let that conspiracy theory thing go, or you don't. But then, and then, I just feel like there have been a lot of lucky people who have refused to be vaccinated, but haven't gotten it. And then let's take it a step further. There are so many vaccinated people who won't wear masks in public places where they are supposed to because they say, oh, well, I'm vaccinated, so I'm not endangering anyone. But here's the other side of that. You are vaccinated. But then the people who are not vaccinated have license to walk in there without masks too, because they see so many of you guys doing it. So if you're not rocking with the mask mandate, they're not. And then boom, especially in schools, now those unvaccinated people are getting the kids sick. But if you as a vaccinated person would have just worn your mask in the school for the 3 minutes that you were in there dropping your kid off, maybe it's a little harder for those unvaccinated people to get away not wearing a mask, get away without wearing a mask. That's all I have on this. You got anything else, Trey? If not, we can go back to our list.
Yeah, man. Wear your mask. That's it. Wear your mask. It's we got to do it. It's a shame that we're still saying this same thing, wear your mask, and we were saying it in 2020, and we're about to be in 2022, and we're still saying wear your mask. My youngest kid, will be 4 in March, and all he knows is wear your mask. That's all he knows. Because over half of his life, he's been wearing a damn mask.
Yeah. Same for Kayla.
Same
for Kayla, who was born 4 months before him. Yeah.
Yep. Protect yourself, protect others. Nobody wants to die because of your carelessness.
Right. Rod, did you see the Tennessee Purdue game that Dietrich is talking about? Some goal line play?
I didn't.
No, I didn't see it either.
Okay. Same old Rod. We never get his eyes during the podcast because he's always up or down, up at the TV, down at his phone, up at the TV, down at his phone. We only get his eyes when he's talking for 48 minutes. Hey, we didn't see it, Dietrich. So if you want to tell us about it, great. I will look at it as soon as we get off. But I didn't see it. Somebody sent me something about Lawrence Taylor's goal line plays. And that was pretty cool, except for the first one was against the 49ers, so I didn't really want to see that. But the second one wasn't, so I guess that made it okay. Golden State and Phoenix played for a third time, and Golden State put hands on them. Golden State looking like world beaters, and Phoenix is a pretty close second, but second nonetheless. I still have Golden State taking it.
Yep.
You guys have any comments about Golden State versus Phoenix Part 3?
Golden State to take it, man. They've been there. They've been there plenty of times. And so they know what it takes. Phoenix had their shot last year. Everybody thought when they went up 2-0 that they had it. But then they got smashed 4 in a row. So they still got some growing to do, They still got to, be put in certain positions and learn how to close, things like that. But Golden State's too deep, too dangerous, too good, too fast. And that's one thing that Golden State does. No matter who they're playing, they play their style of basketball, win or lose. They don't change.
Yeah. And they mostly win. And Clay's not even back yet.
Right.
The Lakers and several other teams tried to woo Darren Collison out of retirement prior to the season, and he didn't bite, and so he stayed retired. But now he signed a 10-day contract with the Lakers, and I imagine he's going to be here for the rest of the season. And now Rondo was traded today.
Who was?
Rondo.
Are you serious? Oh, wow. I didn't see that.
All right, so hold on. So now I want to even further thank Trey for showing up today because he clearly woke up and got on the podcast because he ain't checked the updated our what do we call this thing? Our outline of what we're going to talk about today. He didn't look at the poll in the phone, but he got on the podcast right at 8:05. So thank you, Trey. Yeah, he was traded to Cleveland this morning.
Wow.
And I still haven't found out who, if anybody, came back. So I don't really understand the term trade, but he's gone. He's there. He's there now. Their starting point guard, and they have to cut somebody to make room for him. So there you go. And Darren Collison is with us. Young Bickerstaff was extended. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
Love it.
As much as black coaches wind up in situations where they are destined to fail, pretty much unless you're Doc, it's great to see Bickerstaff actually having a chance to rebuild, and then they're world beaters this year. They have more wins in the first quarter of the season than they had last year in the whole season. So that's great. So shout out to Bickerstaff. Somebody mentioned Lance Stevenson was getting signed by someone too. I didn't see anything about it. I just saw it in our group chat. Did anybody else see anything about it?
He got signed by Atlanta from the G League.
Okay. Oh, it was in the G League. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for IT though. I'm pulling for him, man.
So he's in health and safety protocols. As of this morning, Isaiah Thomas of the Mavericks. He's in health and safety protocols today. So he played one game on Wednesday, and then now he's down for however many days. So yeah, I'm pulling for him too. But the Lakers did not renew his 10-day contract.
Contract, right?
Yeah. So Dietrich is telling us that Denzel Valentine was traded and will be waived, and it was to open up a slot to keep Stanley Johnson. Okay, thank you.
This sounds like the Lakers are all over the place.
This sounds like the Lakers are all over the place.
I mean, at this point right now, like they're just doing things really out of desperation. Like,
well, isn't that what happens when LeBron is your GM? You
don't like tell Rondo to come back and then trade him at this point of his career. Like that's shady.
So okay, so that's a really good point. But let me ask you this, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to get your perspective. He wasn't getting burned. Well, he wasn't very effective, right? So they brought Collison in. He was about to be the guy. So is this a better situation for Rondo? And do you think that they consulted him before trading him? Like, hey, you're going to go there and be the starter because they have no guards?
Well, let me back up on that.
Because it's not like this is a championship team.
If they consulted him, then I have no problem with it. But if they just did this to him and he didn't see it coming, just to come and try to get Darren Collison out of retirement, as if he's going to save the season, I don't understand that.
Yeah, they need more to save this season.
Well, I don't know that that's that. I don't know. I think that I don't know that it was because of Darren Collison. But I don't know because I don't know Rob Pelinka's flow. Like I haven't been able to figure that out.
I'm saying that because you obviously already signed Isaiah Thomas, who obviously can light up the scoreboard in the matter of a moment. So, I mean, what's the point? There's only so many minutes you can give out, and you're trying to play Horton Tucker a lot more minutes, which I haven't seen what he does personally to say he's really valuable, but I know that it seems to be that they wouldn't think of trading him or anything like that. But just watching him, when I do watch him, I haven't seen what he does that's special. I'll say it that way.
Well, it doesn't matter now. He's got a contract.
Huh?
He's got a contract. He's got a new contract. Right. Doesn't matter now.
But people have inquired about a trade for him, and they're like,
well, he's just in a slump right now. Like he's solid. He's solid. He's just
but you need more than solid.
But Rod,
those young guys at Golden State are going to work.
So what I don't want
is a but about it. They going to work, and that's why Golden State is playing the way they are.
I don't want our listenership and viewership to be confused, Rod. And I feel like you just confused them because you confused me. You mentioned Isaiah Thomas again. He's gone. So he's not competing for minutes on the Lakers. He's in Dallas.
Okay. I thought he was in COVID protocol with the Lakers.
Yeah, for Dallas.
Okay.
The Lakers didn't give him another 10-day contract, so Dallas did, and he played on Wednesday. And then this morning he went into health and safety protocols for Dallas.
Okay. Yeah. But I mean, with the Lakers shuffling all these guards, they should have kept him, considering he's a known commodity. We don't know what Collison's been doing since he's been retired. Now, before he left, Collison could shoot. And I'm not saying he's a vet, so I'm not saying he's out of shape or anything like that. But when you're not playing every day, your skills erode. And Isaiah Thomas has been playing every day and lighting up the scoreboard every day. Every place his first game with the Lakers, he scored like 19 points in like 20 minutes. You need shooting. So, why do you let go of a known
The Lakers don't
proven
think they
shooter?
need shooting.
Huh?
That's one thing. The Lakers don't think they need shooting.
I don't know why not.
They feel like
I'm gonna tell you why.
They feel like Bron is a spot up shooter for some reason.
Well, we already know that the great one, Kobe, won without shooters, right? So they believe that everybody can win without shooters.
But here's the thing. Kobe won without great shooters, but he was a great shooter.
Yeah.
Bron ain't no great shooter.
No, but he's Spider-Man. So, Spider-Man, COVID flu, cold. All right. Yeah. All right. Draymond. Great point. And this is really Rodney's least favorite player. And I love me some Draymond.
I don't know where you get that from.
Rodney hates as much as you can hate a basketball player that you don't know. Rodney hates Draymond Green. But this is what Draymond said.
Not even a little bit. I think his antics are over the top, but as a player, I love him. I don't like his little all defensive team list that he just put out the other day.
Now you see, when Rodney wants to be passionate about something, he's passionate. He wanted to let you guys know that I was making it up about him hating Draymond, right? And I was. But you see, he don't get that passionate when I say the Clippers are his team. So now you know the Clippers are his team. So we're moving on. Because he never gets passionate about that.
There's no reason to argue that.
You picked them to win the championship. They are your team.
That was 2 or 3 years ago, and it was because at the time they were the team to beat.
See, what had happened was.
What do you mean? When were the Clippers? When were the Clippers ever the team to beat?
Wait, he read off
season. That was before the season started, and we were just talking about.
It was in the bubble. Wait a minute, Trey. Hold on. Listen.
Even in the
all
bubble,
the billboards that say Rodney, Trey, all the billboards that say LA's team and all of that, we're going to win the Clippers way. All of that shit. Like my man Freddie Gibbs said, get fucked and sent home early, just like the Clippers. What you doing, girl? Like sent home early. Anyway, I think you're selling Collison short. I hear what you're saying about Thomas playing every day, but then some could argue, and this is not me, but some could argue that Rondo plays every day and he's just ineffective. So maybe not playing every day, Collison.
Rondo's been injured, so that's not playing every day. He's been on the couch.
Okay, so then he's been on the couch. So and Collison's been in the gym. And Collison is Collison. So there you go. You said it yourself. Thank you. Moving along. Draymond said
he's been retired.
He's been in the gym. Draymond said, hey, why is this fair? We had mad players down. I'm paraphrasing. We had mad players down in COVID protocols the other day, and we lost to Denver. Now, Denver doesn't have the 8 minimum, and we feel like it's an arbitrary minimum. They don't have the 8, and so you postponed the game. We lost to them the other day shorthanded. Now you're going to wait for them to get healthy and reschedule this game and make us play a back-to-back at some point where they probably don't have to play a back-to-back. So it's all to their advantage. Why is that fair? He makes a great point. He's not saying don't have rules and don't have protocols, but he's saying we just had to play very, very, very shorthanded, and we lost. And now, a couple days later, it's the same team, and they're going into protocols. I mean, with their protocols, you're actually postponing the game. It's not fair.
And it's not. I agree with what he's saying.
Thank you. Clippers fan, what do you feel? Oh, he's smarter than I thought he was. Look at that. Look at that Howard education going to work. He doesn't respond, so he's letting us know I'm not a Clippers fan because I didn't respond. Good job, Rod. You didn't take the bait. Go ahead, Rod. Tell us how you feel. That's really good, though. I didn't expect you to get that.
He's right. He's
Okay.
right. If all things were equal, if they had the same amount of players or whatever, didn't have the amount to play with, he's right.
Okay. Fair enough. And then we already talked about LeBron's tweet. So, that's what we kicked off with. So moving on to the NFL. Nina's not on the podcast today, but Nina's Cardinals are falling fast. They have made the playoffs for sure, and they are the 5 seed as we speak. But a minute ago, they were the 1 seed. So what do you guys think of the Cardinals? And do they stop falling or do they lose their next 2?
They won't stop falling. I don't know who they have left, but they're just not playing well.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll get into the playoffs. Like, we thought they were something that they weren't. Sort of like Rod with the Clippers. Started off a little hot, and they were the championship team to win.
They were LA's team.
Okay. LA's team, because Kawhi had a billboard.
See.
George has a billboard out here too.
See how you got your yes man going right with you, just jumping all in there.
They have the Cowboys and the Seahawks.
They'll win one. They'll beat the Seahawks.
Yeah, maybe.
They're not beating the Cowboys.
Okay.
Even though I would like them to beat the Cowboys, just for the Eagles' sake.
Yeah. So based on the remaining schedules, interestingly enough, we also took a vote, the collective podcast, and we were this is the one that he didn't vote on before he gave us that news. Michael, he only voted on the AFC. So in the AFC, we all say Kansas City is going to have home field advantage. In the NFC, we had 2 votes for Green Bay and 1 vote for Tampa. And it's not like I'm a Tampa fan, because I'm not. I was when Tony Dungy was there and the year after. But I just feel like their schedule is user-friendly to win out. I think they will go 13-4. The Cowboys have to play the Cardinals, and I think the Cardinals will beat the Cowboys. And so that would knock them out of it. And then Green Bay doesn't have the easiest road. Even though Green Bay only has to win one of those 2, they have the Vikings. I think the Vikings will beat them, and then I don't think the Lions will. So I guess maybe Green Bay will get it. But I went with Tampa Bay. So I went with Tampa Bay. But overall, the collective voted that it would be Green Bay and Kansas City. So it's almost like we're a front-running podcast because they are already the 1 seeds. But we'll see what happens. Rodney's favorite player is Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is also in a free fall. So a guy like me who doesn't like Baker Mayfield or the Cleveland Browns is in heaven, and Rodney is staying up nights wondering what's going on with his Browns. Rodney
is he in
been
a
Baker
free fall,
Mayfield.
or is he being himself?
Just talk to us. Let us know how you feel. Tell us how you feel.
I don't think he's in a free fall. I think he's
not a
just
free
playing
fall?
like he's been playing.
Okay.
That's all.
That's all?
Yeah.
So Baker Mayfield, he's actually losing fans. Like, there are people who are Baker Mayfield yes men, and they are not pleased. So I guess they now see that it wasn't Odell Beckham 2 that was the problem, huh?
Pretty much.
All right. So here's the playoff picture in the AFC. You have your usual suspects. Kansas City is the 1 seed. Tennessee is the 2 seed. Buffalo is the 4 seed. And by the way, Buffalo just got back there. The unusual suspect is Cincinnati at the 3 seed. The Colts are the 5 seed, and they are just 1 game behind Tennessee for that slot in the top 4 for the division crown. New England is actually tied with Buffalo, but Buffalo has the tiebreaker. And then the Dolphins are a game back of New England and Buffalo for the AFC East, and the Dolphins are the 7 seed. Rodney's Raiders are chasing, and they are the 10 seed right now. And they have the same record as the 7 seed, the Dolphins, who have shocked the world and gone. They went 1-0, 0-7, 7-0. So they are actually 8-7 and in the playoffs as we speak. Rodney, I know that it is your dream for the Raiders to jump the Chargers, Ravens, and Dolphins. And right now they still can, but they don't have the tiebreaker with the Chargers, Ravens, or Dolphins. And then 1-1, they don't have the tiebreaker with the Chargers. But you still hope, though, right, Rod, over the next 2 weeks?
Well, we get to play the Chargers the last game of the season.
This motherfucker said we get to play the Chargers. Okay.
We'll spank them then.
Ooh.
And we'll spank the Colts Sunday.
Okay.
So,
okay. Talk your shit, Rod.
He sounded like he got it. Like he just got the whole plan already, right?
We've already spanked the Dolphins. We've already spanked the Ravens.
Did you spank the Chargers?
No, we lost.
Oh, you didn't spank the Chargers.
Yeah, we lost the first one.
Got spanked.
We're gonna spank them. Okay.
So
okay,
we're gonna spank them on the next one.
We're gonna spank them. Okay.
We played them right after the Gruden stuff.
Oh. Excuses. We don't do excuses on the podcast, right?
We're good.
We played them on the Sunday right after the Clippers lost that Saturday.
Man, our cleats got wet. Our cleats got wet on the bus, man.
Didn't we spank the Eagles too?
Excuse me?
Didn't we spank the Eagles too?
But the Eagles are in the playoffs.
Huh? Are they?
Eagles in the playoffs.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're in the playoffs?
In the playoffs.
The playoffs started?
As of right now, the playoffs started. They're in it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If the playoffs started right now, they in it.
If the playoffs started right, so it hasn't started.
Okay.
Let me see. They need less work than the Raiders.
All right.
So let me tell you this.
I got to do you like I do Tim McCullough. Shout out Tim. I got to do you like I do Tim when he talking.
Shouting out Tim and the Cowboys. All right. Let me say this. So in the AFC, it's so funny what Trey is doing. And I obviously I rock with Trey. But we got to remember, I had to think, who's Trey's team? You say Eagles, but if in his left ear it's the Rams, in his right ear it's the Eagles.
Here we go.
When nobody's looking, he might just support my team for a minute just to keep peace in the household. Who else? Who knows who else Trey be fucking with? But hold on. Do you know there's only one team that's clinched in the AFC? It's wide open in the AFC. I didn't realize that. It's only the Chiefs.
Oh, wow. Everybody counted them out for a minute when they were losing in the beginning. They didn't have it and all of this, all of that.
Right. And you have 5 teams that have clinched in the NFC. So you only have 2 slots available. Although you could conceivably still have the Cardinals win the division, especially since we plan on beating the Rams for them. But yeah, only 1 slot is gone. And then so Kansas City has their division and they don't have home field and nobody else has clinched their division yet. This is wild. No one's clinched their division and no one's clinched a spot. So you literally have the 7-8 Broncos and Browns still alive. You got 12 teams alive right now for 6 slots in the AFC. And in the NFC, you got 2 slots available. And you have 6 teams battling for those 2 slots. So you have Green Bay, Dallas, Rams, Buccaneers, and then the Cardinals they have also clinched, although they are a game back of the Rams, but they could still win the division. And then we are the next team, the 49ers. The Seattle loss hurts, but what really, really hurts is the Tennessee loss the other day. Wait, did we lose the Tennessee or the Colts? Yeah, the Tennessee loss the other day was tough. Ambry Thomas is the worst defensive back in the CFL or the NFL, and it just really showed against Tennessee.
I don't think that was the stumbling block for you guys.
I was gonna get to James Evan Garoppolo. That was coming next right
Yeah,
now.
that was.
But that's a stumbling block combo. Let's be clear. My man Jimmy G looks like a deer in headlights for most of every game, and as I stated before, Kyle Shanahan runs such a pedestrian offense for him just to bring down the turnovers. And yet and still, this dude is not accurate and doesn't make great decisions in this pedestrian offense. And it really does suck because we controlled that game and still wound up losing. It was really bad. Now, a team like I'm gonna divert to women's basketball real quick. A team like South Carolina women who lost last night in overtime on a last second shot. Dawn Staley is going to be able to tell them, hey, you guys were believing your own press. You didn't play well. That's why we lost this game. We are the best team, but we need to play like it every night. And I think that they are better for that loss. The 49ers were not better for losing to the Titans, nor were we better for losing to the Seattle Seahawks the other day. And yet, here we are, still the 6th seed, and the Eagles jumped into the 7th seed. So, Trey fully expects the Eagles to stay there. I don't care one way or another. I expect the 49ers to stay. I do have now I get it. Trey said the Packers, which means they would need to beat the Vikings. And if I'm choosing the Vikings, that might hurt his playoff chances. Not if you win out, Trey. If you win out, then you don't have to worry about the Vikings.
No, we're going to win out.
That's the key. Control your destiny.
Yes.
It's fun to control your own destiny because I can tell you right now,
the Raiders.
Roderick will tell you Rodney will tell you it's not a good feeling to not control your own destiny. Now, just as Rod said that his Raiders will put hands on the Chargers, who are on paper better than the Raiders and already beat the Raiders. Trey is saying that they will beat Washington and Dallas. They have 2 division games left. So, Trey, talk us through you guys dismantling the Washington football team and Tim McCulloch's Dallas Cowboys.
Easy. Play Eagles football, man. That's it. Play Eagles football, man. Fly. Let's go, Birds. Let's fly.
Let's go back to Thanksgiving and play Raiders football, and you get them.
Let's fly. Let's fly, Birds. Let's do it. Let's fly.
Well, we play the Houston Texarkanas and we play the Rams. And I'm not saying I don't feel like Rod feels like, oh, history tells me that we're going to beat the brakes off of them. Although we did actually beat the brakes off of them earlier in the season. I just feel like we have too much for the Rams in the final game of the season. But I'm not giving any predictions like we're going to beat them by 25 or anything like that. It's just we're going to beat them. But we're probably locked into the 6th seed. So, it is what it is. Right now, we would play them in the first round. And boy, do they not want that. So that's another thing. It makes even more sense for them to want us to beat them so that they don't have to see us in the first round. Because if they drop, then they would play the Cardinals. And they probably do want that matchup more than they want us. So it's interesting. You have NFC West in 3, 5, and 6. All right. Antonio Brown is closing in on some kind of roster incentive. I mean, some kind of performance incentive that's going to get him another $1 million. Any comments?
No,
Antonio Brown.
Part of his contract, not an issue.
Right. Hopefully,
I'm saying, are you any comments on it? I know it's part of his contract. Like, do we care? Is what I'm asking.
I think some people, didn't want him to have the money or something. I don't know.
Why?
I don't. I got an issue with the man ever since. I used to rock with him, but when he started doing the fake COVID cards and all that, bro, okay. I got to now. Idiot steps in. Idiot takes over.
Okay. So then that's going to take me back to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, no, the
Look
incentive
at
is not for
Dietrich.
the fake vaccination cards. Come on, Dietrich. Like, let's spread it around then. Let's talk about the guy who lied. Who also let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you misheard me? What? No, I didn't mishear you, motherfucker. You said you were vaccinated.
Right.
You danced around that shit, and then that's what you said.
And only fined $14,000.
Right.
That's
so
crazy.
now, do I think that this dude is moronic? Yes. But he's also not talking to his 10 million followers, telling them not to get vaccinated. Now his actions say don't get vaccinated, but he's not preaching it. And also that's his contract. So I mean, if the team can do something to him for that, then I don't know. I know that those billionaires are doing all kinds of fucked up stuff. So like, let that man get his money. Cole Beasley, unvaccinated and in health and safety protocols. He tells us, hey, the only reason that I'm not playing is because of the protocols, not because I actually have the virus, because I can play with the virus. Defend your guy, Rod.
I don't know anything about him. Who's Cole Beasley?
You know who the hell Cole Beasley is.
That's
he's
my
basically
point.
Renfro. He's Renfro on the Bills.
He's a nobody.
He's Renfro on the Bills. He's the
a
greatest wide receiver ever.
He's
Oh,
a nobody.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like, no one should even, in the words of my man, the pitcher from Boston, from that traded from the Dodgers. What was his name?
Pedro.
My favorite pitcher.
Pedro Martinez.
Yeah. Who's he?
Number 40. Number 45. It's my guy.
Pedro Martinez. Who's he?
That's my guy.
He doesn't get to speak to me. Who's he?
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, I just want to remind you guys, in 2004, I went to Fenway Park and I watched him one hit the Padres with David Wells pitching, and it was amazing. One hit him. Now David Wells two hit the Red Sox that night, but it was a great pitching duel, but the Red Sox won. That same night, it was very clear that the Detroit Pistons were going to be too much to handle for our Lakers. It was that same night. You could look it up in the history books. It was game 1. 2004. You know, it didn't go well. And now what? Ben Wallace in the Hall of Fame or some shit?
We'll put him in there.
No,
that's not what put him in there. I won't.
No, I'm like that. But they beat the Lakers' asses. So more power to them. That wasn't an accident. All right. Home field projections. We already did that. KC and Green Bay. I disagree with Green Bay, but logic would tell you that Green Bay will get it. All right. WNBA. Becky Hammon is slated to be the highest paid coach in WNBA history.
Why am I not surprised?
Right.
Well, she's the most high profile coaching prospect to come through, let's say, in the last 15 years. I mean, the only one who was more high profile than her with a history was fucking Van Chancellor. I mean, Van Chancellor and Brian Agler. So, I mean, she hasn't been a head coach, but she's been, like on the cusp for so long, and she's, what's really interesting is that the Aces were the Stars, were the Silver Stars, who were the Utah Stars. So this is who she played for. One of the two teams that she played for, and her jersey is already retired there. I am surprised. So Rod says he's not surprised. I am surprised because there wasn't an opening in Las Vegas. Bill Laimbeer was chilling, but he was part of this to bring her here to Vegas to be the coach of the Aces. And I think that this is awesome. And I don't know if Laimbeer is going to be the GM or what's about to happen with him. But as much as he was a disgusting individual in Detroit as a player, he's been really good for women's basketball. So I actually appreciate Bill Laimbeer's coaching career. So let me just throw that at you. But yeah, free agency starts today in the WNBA, and Becky Hammon will probably be named the head coach later on today. Thoughts?
Not a shock. I thought she actually probably would have been a coach somewhere in the NBA. Maybe she jumped too fast. And coming off of Pop's coaching tree, that's it.
Right.
And now, there's an emphasis on what tree you come from versus prior years. If you're coming from a certain pedigree, you're bound to get a great job. They just talked about Nick Saban's tree and all of the coaches who have gotten D1 jobs. So it is what it is. I'm not surprised.
No, happy for her. Do you know what her contract's going to be yet? Or they haven't?
The largest in history. That's all we know.
That's all we know.
Yeah. 5 years. I know that.
Well, good for her, man.
Yeah.
Good for her.
So I go back to 99.
Like Rod said, did she accept something too soon? Because I feel like, coming under Pop, a well-respected name like that in the NBA as a coach, why wouldn't she get a, NBA coaching job?
She's been interviewing and she hasn't been hired. And so since there are no sure things, let me go kick down another door and be the highest paid coach in WNBA history. And
that might be after that.
And get the Aces over the hump, get the Aces to a championship. They've been close 3 times. Get them over the hump. And see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I don't know. I don't know Becky. I haven't, I got a chance to see her in her final college game, which was against UCLA in 1999. UCLA went to the Elite Eight at the Sports Arena. And they had a chance to make it to the Final Four. But they so in the Sweet 16, they beat Colorado State, which is where Becky Hammon played. And then 2 days later, they lost to Louisiana Tech in the Elite Eight. So they didn't make it to the Final Four, and that was their best shot under Kathy. Shout out to Kathy Olivier. But yeah, I got to see Becky early on, and and listen, you talk about somebody making the absolute most of their career, making the most of their tools. She didn't play for Team USA, Team Russia. She played for the Liberty, played for the Silver Stars, flipped the Silver Stars gig into coaching for the Spurs, coaching on the Olympic team on the men's side, under Pop. Like it's been a great run for her. And so, here's the next step. That leaves 2 jobs open, even though Las Vegas wasn't even open. Phoenix is open and New York's open. So we'll see what happens with those. So Elaine is saying that Lindsey Gottlieb, who left UC Berkeley, I can't read what Elaine typed, but UC Berkeley, and went to the Cavs and then came back to the women's game to coach at $C. Yeah. Becky's adding to her resume. Yep. All right, cool. Shout out to Becky. Rod's not surprised. I'm surprised. And I'm surprised because there was no job opening, Rod. Like that's a thing that, it's one of those weird things, right? Because there wasn't an opening. But now there is. Or there's still not an opening. Sorry. All right. Insecure finale. Who saw it?
Don't talk about it. I didn't watch it yet.
Did you read the fucking what we were talking about today?
Yeah, but I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it yet because I told a wife I would watch it with her when she came home. So I didn't watch it yet.
So in the future, Trey, just type under this, like pull it up and be like, hey, I'm not gonna have this watched by the time that we are to talk about it. So can we push it a week? Just say something. That's why this is out there. All right, so we can't talk about Insecure. Holy moly. All right. So Denzel has directed A Journal for Jordan, starring Michael B. Jordan. Thoughts? Anybody gonna watch it?
Actually, I was gonna watch it last night, but it wasn't on my Fire Stick. So
Oh my goodness.
I didn't watch it.
We're not promoting that. What were you saying, Rod?
I plan on it.
It's
But
not.
I got into the movie I was talking to you about, so I didn't. But I plan on it. Denzel was phenomenal in his first directorial debut. I think everything he touches is golden, so I'm sure this is going to be great.
All right. So yeah, Trey, it's not streaming yet, so that's why it's not on your Fire Stick. That's all.
Right.
Let's see. I guess OFC. Okay, so I just got a text from a Gen Zer who put yes OFC exclamation point. I think that means of course. So there you go. If you got Gen Z kids, OFC means of course. Bam. All right, so A Journal for Jordan is coming, and then Denzel is starring in The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is also coming soon in January. Do you guys plan to see that?
Yes.
Absolutely. Anything Denzel put his hands on, I'm gonna watch.
All right. And then you have Rogel Aguilera Medeiros, who was sentenced to 110 years in for the vehicular homicide of 4 people in that tragedy where he lost control of his trailer. And it was stated that he missed the little turnoff to run into the trash cans full of sand. I forgot what that thing is called, but it said that he missed that. So that was reckless. So he was sentenced to 110 years. There was a petition that wound up with 5 million plus signatures. There was public outcry. Lots of civil rights advocates stepping in saying that this sentence is excessive. People were calling for his sentence to be reduced to 20 to 30 years from 110. The governor finally got involved and said that he would like to see the sentence revisited. The judge said he was open to revisiting it. And then somehow, without the judge even getting to it, the governor of Colorado yesterday reduced his sentence from 110 years to 10 years. So 10-year sentence, and he's eligible for parole in 2028. So in about 6 years, he's eligible for parole. Thoughts? Oh, I'm sorry. So to the victims, because there are victims, our thoughts and prayers go out to them and their families. But what are your thoughts on the reduction?
Well, if he truly missed the turnoff, then it sounds like manslaughter. I mean, like, how do you give someone that much time unless it's an actual murder case?
So, Rod, that's a great question. And the governor said, I have people, this man has been sentenced to 110 years, and there are people, and this was not an intentional act. And I have people who are intentionally violent serving much less time than him. So That was his rationale.
Yeah, if it's nothing but an accident, like, how do you give somebody 110 years for that?
Yeah,
for just missing. I mean, it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing, but I don't know.
So I know that one family said, "Hey, the sentencing guidelines seem to be off, but we don't want his sentence reduced. We just want sentencing reform," which I thought was interesting. And then another family has spoken out against one of the supporters of his reduction, Kim Kardashian, and they're mad at her because she supported this reduction. And then we don't usually say anything about the Kardashians on here, but the Kardashians' business manager was murdered allegedly by her boyfriend a couple days ago. So I guess you guys don't have to respond to that or reply, but yeah, I'm just throwing it out there. Elephant in the room. Trey's here on the podcast. Welcome back, Trey. What we're going to try to do is just find times that work for everybody so that we can keep this going. I think we got some momentum back. Ryan and I were killing it, but it's a different dynamic when this dude is back. So we're going to try to find slots that fit everyone's schedules, so that we can keep this thing going. So unless you guys have anything else, we can go to the closeout.
Well, we can't end without speaking about John Madden.
So let's back up. So as much as I'm maintaining this list, I'm gonna say something to you too, Ryan. You can add to it John Madden. Just pull it to him, Google Doc up, and type, guys. Add to it.
Well, I just
should have
thought
started
with
John Madden
because I just saw it flash across my screen, and I'll take a moment of silence for this. Sam Jones just died at age 88, and if you don't remember Sam Jones, he was NBA Hall of Famer, went by the nickname Snapper Jones, was on NBC doing the analyzing with Marv Albert and a host of other people, and he was great. Great as a player and great as an analyst. So just passed today at 88 years old, and think we should take a little moment of silence for Sam Jones.
Okay. All right. Rest in peace, Snapper Jones. Before we get to Madden, Jeff Dickerson. I'm not familiar. Anybody else? All right. Well, rest in peace, Jeff Dickerson. I only know one Dickerson. That's Eric, on one of a Hall of Famer from one of Trey's football teams. You know, Trey can't decide. Rodney, kick off John Madden.
Oh man, I keep telling my son and others, this new generation, you are missing football when you don't get to hear John Madden and Pat Summerall announce a big game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like at the golden era of football, when the NFC East kind of just ruled things, they were on all the big games. And let me take that back because I saw AC's look. But Washington, Dallas, and Philly were the teams out there, and also the 49ers.
Well, hold on. Okay, so, come on. Well, hold on, motherfucker. We won 5, and all of them together, and you can say the Giants too. We won 5, so don't say also. But no, all 4 of them were winning. So I hear you.
And so that's what I mean by the division to beat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you had the 49ers, and Minnesota was good. But that division was they were like the teams to watch. And then all the 49er Cowboys games, the Dallas Philly games, the Eagles Giants games, Madden and Summerall were on all of them. And they made you want to watch. They put excitement in the game like no other. And of course, he was the coach of the Raiders. I really didn't know John Madden like that in those years, but so I can't say, well, yeah, he was a great coach or not. I can only go by statistics because I didn't know much about football as far as that was concerned back then. But he was the coach of the Raiders. They won a championship. And he, from what I hear from other people, he always gave information. There are some people who hold information in and they will die with it and won't give you any. And from what I hear from others, he was never like that. He would give anything he had. So I know from the beginning of Madden 95 until now, I've been playing his video game and I heard it grossed $7 billion. So I hope he had $1 for each game sold, because that's a lot of money. And it's not gonna die. It is not gonna die. But he was great for the game.
Absolutely. 85 years old, actually died unexpectedly, made it into the Hall of Fame. I think he's probably in the Hall of Fame in multiple ways. I don't know if Rod mentioned this, but he was actually a Raiders coach. Did you mention that, Rod?
Yes.
Okay.
Prayers out to his family, man, and everybody that was friends with him and all of that, because that's an icon right there, man. He's huge. He's huge. He's
my God, this Jeff Dickerson is 44. Okay, thank you for that, Dietrich. Sorry, Trey. Sorry. Yes.
Oh
yeah.
no worries. Oh man.
His rain might be rain. I get it, Elaine. Like, you from the Bay, but rain? Was it a rain? Was it a rain? It might have been a rain. I don't know. I don't know. Just win, baby. It might have been a rain. It might have been a rain. Go ahead, John Madden. I'm gonna share a clip of John Madden. But how do I set? I'm gonna set this up so that it's not. Hold on, guys. Dismiss. Nope. I don't want full screen. I just want a full screen on this. Oh, nope. Didn't want that. All right. So we're gonna take you back to 2002. Trey will get a kick out of this. Rodney's teams usually weren't on Monday Night Football before Jerry Rice got to the Raiders, so he wouldn't know about it.
This is some kind of joke.
I mean, were they on Monday Night Football?
Yes.
Monday Night Football pre-Thanksgiving brought to you by Budweiser, brewed fresh in America. Touchstone Pictures, The Hot Chick, coming soon to theaters everywhere. Radio Shack.
Radio Shack.
Turducken. And I used to think that was make-believe until I went and got some dog food one day for my dog, and they had turducken.
I have a feeling I know. Kevin Barlow. Well, John, for years at CBS and Fox, it became a tradition, the turkey leg and all of that, and you brought
Jeff Garcia.
The knowledge of America to turducken. And so our friends at the Four Seasons complete turducken. I think it's a turducken.
It is a turducken, but I got to show you how to. I can't show you. I need fresh turducken. I'm going to have crazy turducken. But anyway, here's how you slice it. You have to slice it down the middle. And then you slice it across this way.
Who uses the telestrator to tell us how to eat a turducken? John Madden was classic.
Yeah.
Classic. And it was just a different kind of day anytime the Eagles were beating the 49ers on Monday Night Football. But it is what it is. Hey, so the people who created turducken, I want to say they're in Detroit. It was either Detroit or Dallas. I'm pretty sure it was Detroit, though. And they said that they just absolutely blew up when John Madden started talking about the turducken because he told people where to get it. And they immediately started selling out and they had to change their whole business model. So I don't know their names, but shout out to them and the turducken. Moment of silence for John Madden.
Yeah.
Moment of silence for John Madden and Jeff Dickerson right now.
Yeah.
All right. John Madden, legendary coach, once in a generation talent in the booth, just a different kind of guy. And then, oh my goodness, Madden football. I didn't actually like Madden as much as Bill Walsh college football, but obviously one stood the test of time over the other. So shout out to John Madden and Madden football. All right. Anything else before we close out?
Huh?
Nope.
All right. Trey, close out.
First, I want to say it's so funny saying the same thing that we're saying in 2020. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, guys. We had another year of a pandemic. And like AC said earlier, I actually lost someone in my family because of COVID. So it is real. I hope everybody has big dreams, big goals for 2022. If you're going to do something like go to the gym or whatever, those are usually people's New Year's resolutions. This year, try not to fall off. Stay with it. Keep yourself in shape. If you don't take care of you, nobody else will. And you only get one body, one time. So take care of yourself. Take care of the ones that's close around you. Self-care is huge. It's huge. Got to take care of yourself. Look out for yourself first, because if you don't take care of yourself, can't take care of anybody else. Keep your family close to you. Keep your friends close. And yeah, guys, 2022. Wishing you all a safe one. If you go out tonight, please be safe. Drink responsibly. And yeah, that's it. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year. I got to remember to do this. I should have done this while you were closing out, but I forgot. So I'll do it. I'll do it next when we close out. You want to add something just for kicks? All right.
Happy New Year, y'all. Happy New Year.
All right. Right, close out.
Hey man, you know, it's been a year of ups and downs like most of them. Tomorrow's not promised. I don't even wait for New Year's resolutions because I tell people, if you know you need to do something, start now. You know there's people you don't need to be around, start now. Don't wait for January 1st. Continue to be safe, wear your mask, change your diet, as Kim was telling us, and do what the part that you need to do to keep you healthy. And hopefully God bless us to wake up tomorrow and start a new year. Be safe.
All right, thank you. Dietrich said that he just tested positive. So Dietrich, I'm sorry to hear that. You're in my prayers. I don't know your status. Hopefully you're vaccinated. And so hopefully this doesn't ruin you. And Elaine says, welcome back to Trey. So welcome back, Trey.
Thank you.
So yeah, we're closing out. Like, we're closing out the year. It's December 31st, and this is wild. And we're all parents, and you know, Rod's old man Rod, so he's an old man parent. Trey is a newer parent, and I'm a new parent. And this is it's amazing how, to me, how you can go your whole life thinking, okay, I'm looking out for my mom, I'm looking out for my sister, you know, I'm making sure that they're all right. And then you get married and you're looking out for your wife, you get engaged, you're looking out for your fiance. But when you have a kid, they first. They're first. They're first. Like, I've always been a selfless person, but Kayla's well-being just rules my thoughts and my decision making. And so, little munchies in there. We're gonna get off of this podcast. I gotta call her mom real quick and get caught up. She's out of town, and then we're going to figure out breakfast. And then I gotta figure out if we're hanging out tonight or if I'm gonna do something else. I'm really not sure. But I love that kid, man. I just absolutely love Kayla Sky Carter. And hug your people if you can. If you can't, then virtually hug them. Like I tell you guys a lot, please tell them you love them. And please do all you can to keep your friendship strong, right? So, Trey, we've been friends since, I think actually I met Trey the same year I met Rob, but just later in the year. So it was 6th grade, but just later in the year. Yeah, because I was catching the bus from Override to the park. So yeah, we met that year. But you know, Trey and I have stayed connected through all of our life stuff, you know, and we've had some downs, but we've had way more ups, and that's a real friendship, right? Same thing with Rodrick. Rodney is a newer friend, but we've been solid for, I want to say, like 12 years now. I don't know. I might be wrong about that. Maybe not 12, but I'm pretty sure it's like 12 years. When you look at the guy that I met a couple years before Rodney, when you look at Marcel Dion Gibson, and, you know, we met in officiating and we became fast friends. Like, we met the day that we were starting officiating. So Rod had already been an official for like 30 years when I met him, and I'd already been an official for like 3 years when I met him. But Marcel and I met on day one up at Dorsey High, and we clicked, and we became really good friends, great friends, inseparable, did so many things together, like kicked down doors together. In officiating, we were like youngest assigners, and just so many things that we did together, and it was great. Then he became the godfather of my kid. And then I found out who he really was. This dude was the devil. This dude was embezzling funds from me. He was defrauding business partners. He was the absolute worst. Shout out to Janae Aiko. He was the worst. And ultimately, he wasn't a true friend. And I didn't meet him at a time in my life where I was really looking for new friends, but he was someone who we just, you know, who I wound up clicking with. And it come to find out that the friendship meant nothing to him. So what I say to you guys is, so again, he was the worst. Y'all know this song, Janae Aiko, The Worst. So if you have real friendships, cherish those friendships. And if you fail as a friend, then just do your best to hop back up and make that shit right. Don't be the worst, because then people wish death on you, and you know you don't really want that, right? But yeah, Marcel Dion Gibson, fuck you. You're the worst. I'll never mention your name again, but I just had to close out the year saying your name one last time because I just want to, because this was an important episode because my guy came back, right? And like I said, the friendship was always strong. He just wasn't on the show. Now he's back on the show, and nothing ever happened with our friendship, but that motherfucker Marcel stepped on our friendship. So shout out to Rod, shout out to Trey, shout out to Mike. Get well, Mike. Rest in peace to the people we said rest in peace to. My sister has COVID. My cousin has COVID. So I'm hoping that they heal up. Dietrich has COVID. I hope he heals up. And thank you for tuning in. This is episode 83 of the Collective Podcast. We are still going strong, 83 episodes in, and we just hit 2 hours. So thanks again for checking us out. We appreciate you. And let me remember to get off of this solo layout. Exit solo. Get the 3 of us again. Yeah, we absolutely appreciate you guys. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in. And we are, you know what that means. We appreciate y'all. We out.